it shows you ukuthi ANC giving ngoba they never brought it up kubelungu, they just left it out. Msangano njani lo?
Another thing is we must also remember that Chris Zani came up as well, remember? And he said he was not happy with what was going on during Kodesa.
Yes.
He did not lose his comrades in Zambezi, crossing the Zambezi just to make concessions with white people. Exactly. We did not have to rush the elections, guys, because all the important portfolios were given to white people. Land was given to white people. Finance was given to white people. Fisheries were given to white people. Constitution was given to white people.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I'm telling you, we could have stuck it out,
yes.
Continued fighting for land.
Yes.
Because remember, the apartheid government was already on its knees.
Yeah. Yeah. Masiti ANC sort of sold us out. That's what we mean for those who really should understand. And mind you, these things were not made public, because at least if we were engaged as the public before all this, we might have done like Isilo and say, guys, let's rather not vote as men. And they were at their knees then. That was the best time to get this thing done. And here we are now with people like Carl.
Yeah, and to add to the Ingonyama Trust thing, you remember, I don't know which year it was, when it was being challenged legally. It faced serious legal scrutiny at some point, where it was taken to the Pietermaritzburg High Court because some people were saying that it was unconstitutional, the whole idea, and having Isilo as the trustee. And that particular case, we won that case, and indeed it became a very successful kind of arrangement where it generated, I think, over 70 million in 1 year just through from lease agreements and things like that. And that for me is again an argument we could raise whenever people raise this racist idea that blacks can't even do anything with the land. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard that kind of like racist talking point to say, but you're gonna get the land, you'll end up selling it back to Abelungu. You've heard that, yeah.
And while we're still on it, I think people should understand, guys, there's a lot of mining that is taking place in KwaZulu-Natal. If you look at Richards Bay Minerals, you look at Alusav, you look at Glencoe, Dandy Coal, RBCT Coal. So I think Unguga explained that at some point, the kind of leaders that we need, and I can tell you right now, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, I never thought I'd find myself saying this, but he was very smart. I'm going to explain this. Yes, he had his own shortcomings, awful ones, but he took, remember before Uzwelithini, it was King Cyprian that was in charge, ne? What Mangosuthu did, he deposed of King Cyprian, who was the regent, and took the young Isilo by force and made him the monarch. And he was barely out of, or was still a teenager at the time,
yes,
and made him the monarch. And he was able to run the states via him. Isilo has never made a decision of his own, except for decisions that were pushed by Mangosuthu. So he was our own Hitler, or he could have been our own Hitler.
Yeah.
And people from KZN will tell you, we didn't have malls, guys. We had factories. Everything was industrial. This thing, ANC, malls,
sorry to disturb you. When I was saying earlier on to people that being biased keeps you very stupid. Case in point, in Mangosuthu, there's a lot to not like about the guy, especially if you hang on to biases. But if you look at his behavior, it was exactly, he behaves exactly like the Afrikaner people behave, which is what we need now and we do not have in leadership. So if we become biased towards people, we're going to end up not saying, like you're saying, you never thought you would be saying this about Mangosuthu. I also for a very long time thought Mangosuthu is just one thing or another, but when you look at it holistically, he made very painful decisions with the Zulu people in mind. All he needed was someone from the 10 other tribes who thought, in fact, Mangupe already thought like Mangosuthu, so we had those two. If we had other people who thought the same, the country would have been really taken. Don't you think?
Remember Kaiser Matanzima actually got his independence, but it was not acknowledged by Pretoria. Remember? And he said at the time, it was at the time that
of opportunities, especially when it comes to farming. My mom at present stage, as I say, that I was fortunate enough to be raised by a woman like that. I've learned a lot. I've learned to use my hands, which, have helped me. I tell you, I am able to build a house from the foundation up by myself and maybe few people. Those skills I was taught by my mother. So at this stage she is busy with the layers, those chickens that lay eggs. So she's busy with that currently. So I'm coming from that type of stock. And as Mongile said, African people have been farming for a longest time. It's just that I feel that maybe we have lost confidence in ourselves, and people tend to tell us that, oh, it is so difficult to look at this, look at that, and the amount of capital that you need to put. It's not like that at all. You can start small, and the important thing is that choose your crop wisely. Thank you.
Thank you, Pando. Duna, you wanted to go in for the one. Can Duna finish up his submission, then you can come through?
By all means. I'll wait till everybody's had it and then I'll come in.
Thank you. Right. So I also forgot you, Uzongena Aftundun.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Bongile, we answered the dip, right? The cows jump because they see a hole. But then now moving away from that, how do we keep our animals healthy? I also come from a family that is a communal land, they do communal land farming. The difference between a communal and a commercial land farm is, firstly, it's control of movement of your animals. A commercial farm, like whether it's Mr. Georgie's farm, 1,000 hectares that's fenced off, your animals are less likely to pick up illnesses because you can vaccinate them at the right time and you keep them moving in a controlled environment. They don't come into contact with other cows. So there are vaccinations you do. There's vaccinations you do from January till December, which are gazetted by law. I know in South Africa, there's issues like heart water, red water, which are tick-pass diseases. I think they're big in the KwaZulu-Natal area. There's also vaccinations you do for botulism, which causes abortions in livestock. So you also want to vaccinate for that. And then there's your very big illnesses, which is now foot and mouth disease, which many people would know about, which is a very infectious disease. Once that breaks out in your country, you guys are not allowed to export meat outside and livestock shouldn't move. So when you're a livestock farmer, I always encourage livestock farmers, your first friend that you should make in the sector is your vet. You need to go to your vet's office. You need to go ask him, is there a vaccination program for my cows? And if he says yes, you get that. You try and do as much vaccinations as you can. I know the medication can be expensive. I don't know if the South African government subsidizes, but in Namibia, we carry the cost on the vaccination. It is costly wherever you buy it. You do those vaccinations, and it's also important to learn how to vaccinate a cow, because you can't vaccinate a cow like you're vaccinating a dog. There are specific areas you need to vaccinate it. And I see this with many communal communal land farmers I deal with, many of them do not know the medication, don't know how to vaccinate, and they don't know how to treat certain illnesses. This is why you would see that in a certain period of time throughout the year, you'd have a flurry of illnesses breaking out in the communal areas because some of those farmers don't understand. Yes, I agree with Mustando to say we come from farmers, and that's correct. We do come from farmers. But like I said, when I go and deal with communal land farmers, I'm always assisting in vaccinating, helping them just do the basic things like you said, dipping your cows, vaccinating, pouring for ticks, and also things like castrating your animals. Some farmers don't know how to do this. So this is the type of knowledge that people are learning, and that's why I always encourage the young people who go to these agricultural colleges. When they're done, they must try and go back to their villages and go plow that education back to their people so farming can improve, because it's true, many communal land farmers have a lot of cattle, they have a lot of cows. Some of them are rich in terms of cows, but it comes down to when they take it to market, because when you're going to sell at an abattoir or at an auction, they weigh your cow, and if your cow is weighing 500 kilograms, they don't want that. They want something talking about 800 kilograms plus to 1,000 kgs. So these are things that you always need to pay attention to as to when to sell and how to sell. But cows, just like human beings, like your doctors will tell you, you are what you eat. So your cows, beside eating grass, you also need to supplement them. And that's what many communal farmers don't understand about supplementing. I know South Africa, you guys feed, but we don't feed in Namibia. We grass feed them and then we just supplement them just to meet the right weight. So I hope I answered you there, Ms. Bongilo. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Tell me this, Nduna, if you give them names, do they know their names? Are cows that intelligent?
They actually are, Ms. Bongile, they actually are, because I think what I've seen, I've named a couple of my cows, particularly my bulls. I had two of them. I named it. One was named Zuma, the other one was named Musholozi, and I would call them. I'd make it a mission to call them by their names, and they would respond. So they actually do understand, because it's like a dog. If you keep calling a dog a certain name, it will hear that, okay, they're talking to me. But yeah, but we don't want to name them, because on the end of the day, they're going to end up on 41/8 bright plate on a Saturday. So once you name it, you become attached. So that's the sad part. But yeah,
I definitely would name them Obatung, Nahana Sekibita Bantu or Astrid. Oh, my cute cows. Oh, Lisa.
Good evening. I came up here when Dando was speaking about that to supply food lovers. I wanted to say, sometimes you don't need to go to even to the head office. You just need to go to the food lovers in your area. My sister, my cousin, she's also a farmer. She supplied the boxer in our little town there with cabbage and spinach in 2 towns that are in our surroundings. Then the other crops just supplies the schools in our area and our villages nearby. Sometimes you just need to have that. I trusted you on that. You can negotiate in that, food lovers in your area. The other thing, you name the cows. I grew up in that area where I was looking after cows. We named them. I heard somebody think it's a Lesotho thing. It's not Lesotho thing to name the cows. We name the cows.
Very true. Sisi nami ngakhula ekhaya zikhona inkomo Nkosi yami siyazazi lezi zinto lezi and sasinabo abantu abazilusayo. It's not even about a specific tribe. Yazi nami understandanga. You're very right.
Yeah. Because I was like, now you make it as if the Lesotho is a special thing for them. No. I did that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm hearing Betty, once you name, I think maybe if Kosinas Kuleka Emakaya Gunenkom, you can name them, right? I'm thinking when it's you're farming like to sell them 800 kilowatt, 800 what, then it means you can't name them. Like imagine now you have to go chop off like unalive him. Like I wouldn't be able to do that myself. I think I would keep them for myself.
Bongile,
Yes.
Bongile, I named a chicken when I was a kid, right? You know those chickens that maybe in Zulu. That chicken made so many chickens for me. I mean, it used to make like 34. I mean,